Hello guys and welcome to this video. Now today we are at the Red Bull Ring short track on an absolutely soaking wet track. So for once Gran Turismo has decided to give us some original combinations. I don't think I've seen one like this for quite a while. It's Daily Race B, it's 7 laps on the Red Bull Ring short circuit, and as you can see we're on the heavy wet tyres on a very wet track. So we're starting at the back of the grid then, not having set a qualifying time, and as we go into turn 1 we can see we're very far behind 14th already, but he gets 2 wheels on the curb and absolutely bins it. And then as we come into this right hander coming off the main straight there that you would go up towards turn number 3, and we can see there's a British driver who's gone a little bit wide, but he's able to keep it on the track, and we've been able to catch up to both him and the Spaniard up ahead. So as we come towards the second half of the lap then, not many corners on this circuit at all, but it is quite a nice fun flowing circuit. Looks like the yellow Subaru is going to make a move up the inside. Most people in this race are in the Subaru, and I think 1 or 2 might be in the Mitsubishi Lancer, but it's pretty much the same car essentially on this game. So on to the back straight then, the start finish straight I should say, and it looks like we might be going 3 wide up into turn 1, but I think a bit better of it. I'm not going to go for that. That would just be absolutely suicide in these conditions, as it looks like the Brit does manage to get ahead of the yellow driver, the Spaniard, once again. We've got a yellow flag out. What's going on here? We've got 2 cars off, one with a penalty, and the Brit goes very wide as well, and then he loses the rear, smashes into me, but we do manage to keep that on the apex and hold on to that position. So up to 12th place now then, and the Turkish driver is going to be serving his penalty very soon as we get up to the penalty serving spot, which is just here, and he'll slow down, and you do lose quite a bit of time even with a half-second penalty on this combination. So up to 11th place then on the end of lap number 2, and we want to see if we can perhaps challenge for 10th place as we head down into turn 1. We get a reasonable exit out of the final corner. We're going to start to pick up the slipstream as we go across the start finish line. The Spaniard looks to go a little bit defensive, but we move out to take that position, and we're both, to be honest, a bit too late on the brakes, and he goes off altogether, and we just managed to keep it on the track and get that move done. But then he moves across us, and we've got the Brit on our inside there, and we kind of get sandwiched in between the two. So we're going to have to take the outside line here, given enough room on the inside for the driver in the green car. But we managed to somehow, I'm not really sure how, keep it going around the outside with a bit more speed and hold on to that position. So we are into the top 10 now, but we are a little bit behind car number 9, about 3 seconds. So we're just going to fast forward it here as we catch up, and we do have the pace to catch up with those drivers up ahead, but unfortunately it is quite a short race. So you can see here we are gaining, but by the time we get onto the back of this little bunch, we're already just onto the start of lap number 6. So less than 2 laps to go, but we look like we might be able to gain another position or 2 before the end of the race as we come through the right hander then, trying to get on the power as early as possible there without losing the rear of the car. And we can see the blue car up ahead in the Lancer has had a bit of a wobble coming out there, but we're unable to do anything here. So he's gone a little bit deep into the second to last corner. We're going to put it towards the inside. We don't quite have the room to get that move done there, but that does put him off, and he gets a poor exit onto the start finish straight. We're able to get side by side, and this should be a nice comfortable move down into turn 1 on the final lap then. And we brake just a little bit later, and he gives us plenty of room on the inside of the track, and we get that move done. So it looks like there's 2 drivers up ahead who also have penalties. We might just about be able to get past possibly one of them, as we can see the British driver up ahead just going a little bit wide there, and we're able to close the gap once again. And to be honest, at this point of the race I was a bit disappointed that it was only 7 laps. I was really enjoying it actually, and I probably could have done this for another maybe 15 laps. I probably would have enjoyed it for, but right, Brit up ahead serving his penalty. He's gone very late with that move to block us off. Yeah, very late move there, but we don't have any contact, but we do get the inside for the final corner send it down the inside, and we get that move done. So we're going to cross the line then to finish in 8th place. So there was a bit of chaos, but it was actually a really enjoyable race, and I think after finishing in 8th place we decided to go again. However, we had to set a qualifying lap for this one. We was going to lose too much DR starting at the back of the grid, so we quickly set a qualifying lap, and it did actually put us in pole position. So my first thoughts of starting at the front of the grid are to just get through turn 1 safely and cleanly, and then go from there. Try to get into a rhythm and not make too many mistakes. So into turn 1 then, we do brake nice and early, and we get a decent turn in. Not the best exit, but it was safe and clean, and we can now crack on with the rest of the race. So I'm just going to forward here to the end of lap number 1, and we can see in the mirrors we have a bit of pressure on us now from the Subaru of the Spaniard behind, and as we go through the final corner you can see he's got a much better exit than we have, and he's going to move to the inside, so it looks like he might try to get this move done up into turn number 1, and there's not really much we can do here. We just need to make sure we don't go too deep into the corner. I'm going to give him plenty of the room on the inside, and it looks like we've actually been able to stick it around the outside there, so getting a little bit of wheel spin as we get out of the exit of the corner, but we do manage to hold on to that position, and we've got enough distance, enough of a gap between the two of us that he's not able to go for a late send into the long right hander there. So once again I'm just going to forward it again until we get on to the start finish straight once again, as not really much happened for the rest of that lap. And coming up to turn 1, he's not quite as close on this lap, but he unfortunately misses his braking point and just taps the back of us and sends us off into the runoff area of turn number 1. But he does, you can see behind in the mirror, he does slow down to let us go back through. But that does mean we've lost the lead of the race, with another Spaniard, the driver up ahead in the blue Subaru this time, getting ahead of us. So not the best start on lap number 3 then, and we're going to have to do some work if we want to win this race, and we get very sideways coming out of that corner there, and you can see already the gap has opened up now to 1.2 seconds to the car ahead, and we're under pressure once again from the same driver. So we just need to try and get into a rhythm. We've not been finding it so far, and yeah, our times have been quite slow. But looking in the mirrors as we go through the final corner, we can see there's a bit of battling going on now between 2nd and 3rd place, and this just gives us a little bit of breathing room that we needed, and I can now set my focus on catching up with the leader of the race. But jumping forwards onto lap number 5 then, you can see the gap to the leader has more or less stayed the same really, and we now have a World Tour finalist in Coque Lopez behind us, who started a few places back at the start of the race. So coming through the final corner then, we can see the Spaniard up ahead has gone very wide coming out of turn the final corner, and he's picked up a 1 second penalty for that. So yeah, very unfortunate for him. I think in the wet the track limit penalties are a little bit harsh, and coming into turn 1 then we actually gain quite a lot of time on him there, and he runs a little bit wide once again, and this just means that he picks up another ½ second penalty. But we have closed the gap up really close now, so this means that when he serves his penalty he is going to drop behind us. And to be honest, we gained so much on that lap there that I think even without the penalties, I think we would have had an opportunity to get past him. But coming up to the penalty serving line then, and he's going to drop back quite drastically, and now we have just over a lap to try and hold off World Tour finalist Coque Lopez. But we get on the power a little bit late there, and going into the final corner we kind of take it a bit too conservative. I was very worried about running wide, and I just didn't take enough speed into the corner at all, and this means he's able to get up our inside going into turn 1 then, and yeah, there's not really much we can do there. We're just going to try and brake at the right point and get the best exit we can, slot in behind him, and maybe look to put some pressure on him going through the final lap then. So coming into the long right hander, and we're not able to go for a move here, taking a very tight line on entry there, so that's something to give a go if I do any more races later in the week here. And through the long left hander then, we are able to keep right onto the back of him, but we do have a bit of company from the Spanish driver behind us. So just 2 corners to go then, and it hasn't been my best drive from pole position, but it has been a pretty enjoyable race. So coming through the right-hander, then you can see Coque Lopez goes wide, and are we going to have an opportunity to go for a move on the inside? But we get bumped from behind and forced wide through the final corner, and the Spaniard behind takes advantage of that then as he moves across us as well here. So yeah, pretty disappointed with the way I lost that second position there. Let me know in the comments what you thought of that move from the Spanish driver. But like I said earlier, it's really nice to see Polyphony giving us something different, some new combos, and it's quite fun racing in the wet on Gran Turismo. I think they should put that in a bit more often. So thanks for watching. Obviously, if you've liked the video, then give it a like. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you again in the next video, which will probably be some Group 1 racing at Monza later in the week.